Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Lok Sabha adjourned sine die. Proceedings of the House did not take place as per expectations in this session, says Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. Rajya Sabha takes Constitution 127th Amendment Bill to restore power of states and union territories to make their own OBC lists. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address annual meeting of Confederation of Indian Industry via video conference at 4:30 p.m. today. More than 52 crore COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 97.45%. Sabrimala Temple in Kerala to open for devotees from 15th of this month. Many districts of Uttar Pradesh reel under the flood fury. Prime Minister Modi calls up administration of Varanasi regarding flood situation and assures of all possible support. In Bihar, River Ganga in spate, relief and rescue operations in full swing in flood-affected areas. Fit India Freedom Run 2.0 to be held across the country from 13th of August till 2nd October as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. And in cricket, second test match between India and England to be played at London from tomorrow. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Lok Sabha is adjourned sine die. Earlier, Speaker Om Birla condoled the death of former Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh, who was earlier Member of Parliament and a Minister at the centre. Obituary references were also made for Nityanand Mishra, Gopal Rao Maikar and Sudarshan Roy Chaudhary. Mr. Birla also gave an account of the works undertaken in the Lok Sabha during this session. Yesterday, the House passed the Constitution 127th Amendment Bill 2021 with unanimous support from the House. The Rajya Sabha has taken up the Constitution 127th Amendment Bill 2021 for consideration and passing. The bill allows states and union territories to prepare their own list of OBC. Moving the bill, Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Dr. Virendra Kumar said it will empower the state in preparing their own OBC lists. He said the legislation will also help strengthen the federal structure of the country. Dr. Kumar reiterated the government's commitment for the welfare of the OBC community, citing the recent decision of allowing 27% OBC quota in NEET. Initiating the discussion, Abhishek Manu Singhvi asked the government to conduct caste census and questioned why it is shying away from it. He said some BJP alliance states have also made similar demands. He said this bill has been brought to correct the mistakes made by the centre in 2018 with regard to making the OBC list. Participating in the discussion, Sushil Modi of BJP questioned the Congress for not giving constitutional status to the OBC Commission during its regime. He said the steps have been taken for the welfare of the OBC community in the governments supported by the BJP at centre. Mr. Modi also listed out several measures taken by the Narendra Modi government for the upliftment of SC, ST and OBC as well as EWS section. Earlier, when the House met after first adjournment at 12 noon, the House reached at consensus to take up this bill. Leader of the opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, said the opposition is in support of the bill.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today said he is hurt by the fact that the proceedings of the House did not take place as per expectations in this session. Speaking to reporters after the House adjourned sine die, Mr. Birla said he always makes effort to see that maximum business takes place in the House and discussions are held over issues related to the public.
इस छठे सत्र के अंदर अपेक्षाओं के अनुरूप सदन का कामकाज नहीं हुआ, इसको लेकर मेरे मन में वेदना है। मेरी कोशिश रहती है सदन में अधिकतम कामकाज हो, विधायी कार्य भी हो, जनता से जुड़े मुद्दों पर भी चर्चा हो, माननीय सदस्य अपने अपने क्षेत्र की अपेक्षा और आकांक्षाओं को भी सदन के माध्यम से सरकार तक पहुंचाए ताकि उनके अभावों को दूर कर सकें। लेकिन इस बार लगातार गतिरोध रहा और ये गतिरोध समाप्त नहीं हो पाया। पिछले 2 वर्ष संसद के कामकाज की दृष्टि से अधिक उत्पादकता वाले रहे, देर रात तक सदन भी चला और कोविड महामारी के समय भी मान्य सक्रिय रूप से सदस्यों की भागीदारी रही। मेरी कोशिश थी कि इस बार भी मैं सदन को देर रात तक चलाता, सब विषयों पर चर्चा होती, संवाद होता, माननीय सदस्य भी अपने अपने क्षेत्र की बातों को सदन में रखते, लेकिन ऐसा संभव नहीं हो पाया।
Mr. Birla said the House functioned for only 74 hours and 56 minutes. He said the total productivity was 22% and a total of 20 bills were passed, including the OBC bill, which was passed with the unanimous consent of all parties. Mr. Birla said he always expected the MPs to maintain the dignity of the House. He highlighted there have been debates, agreements and disagreements in the House, but its dignity was never lowered. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today criticized the opposition over yesterday's unruly scenes in the Rajya Sabha. Talking to reporters outside the Parliament, Mr. Thakur said the incident of opposition members climbing on the table and throwing files at the Rajya Sabha chair is shameful.
जो पार्टी अपना 2 वर्ष तक अध्यक्ष न चुन पाए, जिस पार्टी के सांसद अपनी ही सरकार के बिल फाड़ दे, जो पार्टी सदन ना चलने दे, जो सड़क पर भी कोई करने से शर्म महसूस करे, वैसा काम सदन में करे, तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि लोकतंत्र को कितना शर्मसार करने का काम किया जा रहा है। देश की जनता ने जिन्हें सांसद बनाकर भेजा है अपने मुद्दे उठाने के लिए, वो चर्चा में भाग न लेकर चीर फाड़ करने तक आए, फाइलें फेंकने तक आए, करोड़ों रुपए सदन के चलने के ऊपर खर्च किए जाते हैं और जब चर्चा होती है तो उसमें भाग न लेना, ये अपने आप में दिखाता है कि क्या कर रहे हैं।
Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary today said Lok Sabha has been adjourned sine die as opposed to its scheduled date August 13th. Speaking to reporters outside Parliament, Mr. Chaudhary said government took the sudden decision to adjourn it. Saying there was no discussion on important issues, Mr. Chaudhary alleged that the government wants to paint the opposition in bad light. He also said the centre passed bills without discussion except for discussion on OBC bill. BJP MPs from West Bengal today staged protest in front of Mahatma Gandhi's statue in Parliament complex over the issue of atrocities on women in the state. Talking to media, State Party Chief Dilip Ghosh alleged that state government has filed 35,000 cases against BJP party workers. He claimed that political violence in the state is at its peak.
मुफ्त में कहीं वैक्सीन नहीं मिलती है। आज जाइए, सरकार बोलता है हमारे पास वैक्सीन नहीं है, लेकिन प्राइवेट में सब जगह अब पैसा देकर आपको वैक्सीन मिल सकता है। गरीब लोगों के पास 250 से लेकर 1200 रुपया तक लिया जा रहा है। वैक्सीन का कालाबाजारी हो रहा है। मुफ्त जो केंद्र सरकार ने राशन भेजा है गरीब कल्याण योजना का, उसका भी कालाबाजारी हो रही है। तो हर जगह कालाबाजारी। ममता बनर्जी सीएम के रूप में सफल नहीं हो पाई, पीएम बनने जा रही है और उनके लोग त्रिपुरा में हंगामा करके वहां अशांति कर रहे हैं।
Left MPs also held a protest in front of Gandhi's statue demanding adequate vaccine supply for Kerala.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the government will keep working with various stakeholders to further strengthen the reform trajectory so that the collective vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat is fulfilled. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said he will be speaking at the CII annual session this evening. The theme of the meeting is India at 75, Government and Business Working Together for Atmanirbhar Bharat. The CII annual meeting 2021 will be held over 2 days. Deputy Prime Minister and Coordinating Minister for Economic Policies of Singapore, Heng Swee Kit, will address as the special international guest speaker. The event will also have the participation of many ministers, senior officials, academics and prominent representatives of the Indian industry. Governor of West Bengal Jagdeep Dhankar today met Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Parliament House. Talking to media, Mr. Dhankar said it was a courtesy call. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Lok Sabha adjourned sine die. Proceedings of the House did not take place as per expectations in this session, says Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. Rajya Sabha takes Constitution 127th Amendment Bill to restore power of states and union territories to make their own OBC lists. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address annual meeting of Confederation of Indian Industry via video conference at 4:30 p.m. today. More than 52 crore COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 97.45%. Sabarimala Temple in Kerala to open for devotees from the 15th of this month. Many districts of Uttar Pradesh reel under the flood fury. Prime Minister Modi calls up administration of Varanasi regarding flood situation and assures of all possible support. In Bihar, River Ganga in spate, relief and rescue operations in full swing in flood-affected areas. Fit India Freedom Run 2.0 to be held across country from 13th of August till 2nd October as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. And in cricket, second test match between India and England to be played at London from tomorrow. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Atmanirbhar Nari Shakti Se Samvad and interact with women self-help group members and community resource persons promoted under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihoods Mission tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. During the event, a compendium of success stories of women self-help group members from all across the country, along with a handbook on universalization of farm livelihoods, will also be released by the Prime Minister. Mr. Modi will also release capitalization support funds to the tune of 1,625 crore rupees to over 4 lakh self-help groups. He will release 25 crore rupees as seed money for 7,500 self-help group members under the Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme and 4.13 crore rupees to 75 farmer-producer organizations. Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Minister Giriraj Singh, Food Processing Industries Minister Pashupati Kumar Paras, along with Ministers of State for Rural Development, Panchayati Raj and Food Processing Industry will also be present on the occasion. The Health Ministry has said that more than 53 crore 24 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. It said that further 72,40,250 doses are in the pipeline. It added that more than 2 crore 25 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with states and union territories and private hospitals to be administered.
More than 52 crore COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health Ministry said more than 41,38,000 vaccine doses were administered during the last 24 hours. More than 40,000 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. Till now, over 3 crore 12 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19. The recovery rate stands at 97.45%. India reported over 38,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. The active caseload is now at 3,86,351, which is lowest in 140 days. Meanwhile, 497 deaths have been reported in the last 24 hours. Madhya Pradesh has inoculated a record number of more than 3 crore 55 lakh 48,000 people for COVID. More from our correspondent.
Efforts are on to apply the first dose to the targeted 5 crore 48 lakhs population in Madhya Pradesh. So far, 3 crore 55 lakh 48,721 people have been vaccinated. Yesterday, 36,474 people were vaccinated. Indore is first and Bhopal second in terms of both doses. Meanwhile, 10 corona positive cases come in the state yesterday. According to official health bulletin, 4 new positive cases were reported in Indore, 3 in Bhopal, and 1 each in Jabalpur, Rajgarh and Ratlam, while 23 corona patients recovered. Rashid Ahmed Khan, EIR News, Bhopal.
As Kerala continues to report a rise in COVID cases without respite, the revised COVID guidelines will come into effect in the state tomorrow onwards. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has informed that in those areas where the weekly infection population ratio is more than 8, lockdown will be implemented. In districts with weekly infection population ratio is higher than 14, the micro-containment zones will be expanded to 50%. Large public gatherings will not be permitted during the Onam festival season. Entry to beaches will be restricted. Only those roadside vendors with license will be allowed to operate. Home delivery of goods should be initiated by shopkeepers in such cases. Meetings of shopkeepers will be held under the initiative of local self-government bodies. The Chief Minister also added that all necessary steps have been taken to supply 20 lakh doses of COVID vaccines in private hospitals. Entry of number of devotees to Sabrimala temple will be restricted to 15,000 per day. The temple will open on 15th of this month for its monthly rituals. Only those who have received the 2 doses of COVID vaccine or with a valid RT-PCR negative certificate taken prior to 72 hours of the visit will be permitted to enter the temple through the virtual queue facility. Meanwhile, the test positivity rate within the state has risen to 15.91% as 21,119 positive cases were reported within the last 24 hours. 1,71,985 is the active caseload within the state. In Uttar Pradesh, the administration has banned the entry of devotees into the city due to the COVID-related guidelines. All entry gates into the city are sealed and entry of devotees is banned on the way to Ram Janmabhoomi and Hanuman Gadi also. Only local people can visit the temples and Saryu Ghat area after showing their I-card. Devotees from outside can only get entry after showing the latest COVID test report. Lakhs of devotees from all over the country reach Ayodhya on the occasion of famous Sawan Jhula Mela, which starts from today. Due to the COVID guidelines, administration has stopped the procession and Mani Parvat program.
Many districts of Uttar Pradesh are reeling under the flood fury. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has asked the officials to intensify the rescue and relief operations. Chief Minister is himself visiting the districts where flood situation is grim and reviewing the flood situation. More from our correspondent.
After Etawah and Auraiya districts, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath yesterday visited flood-affected Hamirpur and Jalon districts where Betwa, Ken and Yamuna rivers are wreaking havoc and many villages are marooned. Because of the release of water into Yamuna river from Kota barrage and into Betwa river from Mata Tila dam, more than 90 villages are affected in Hamirpur district only. Chief Minister asked officials to make necessary arrangements for the people affected from flood. He instructed that at least one boat should be made available in each village and there must be arrangements for security of women in relief camps. Almost all major rivers are flowing above the danger mark and Ganga and Yamuna rivers particularly have inundated the low-lying areas in Prayagraj, Varanasi, Ghazipur and Balia districts. In Varanasi, teams of NDRF and SDRF have been pressed into rescue operations where thousands of people are affected from flood. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of the information regarding flood situation in his parliamentary constituency, Varanasi, today. Varanasi District Magistrate Kaushal Raj Sharma told AIR that Prime Minister telephonically inquired him about the flood situation there. He asked what resources were available there and whether all help is being provided to the affected people. He asked whether NDRF and other agencies are working properly. Mr. Sharma told that Prime Minister asked if there is any problem, the DM may directly call him and all possible help will be provided. The Prime Minister also took stock of the relief material being distributed to the affected people.
The flood situation has worsened in Bihar following continuous rising of water level of Ganga all along its course from Buxar to Kehelgaon. The water level of Ganga is flowing 116 centimeter above danger level in Patna, while it is above 56 centimeters in Buxar. In many areas, water levels of rivers are fastly rising. The state government has advised people to move to safer areas. NDRF and SDRF teams are carrying out relief and rescue operations in the flood-affected areas of the state. Over 300 villages of Patna, Munger, Bhagalpur, Katihar and Khagaria are surrounded by flood waters. Standing crops spread over 6 lakh hectares have been damaged. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar today visited flood-affected areas of Patna and instructed officials to step up relief and rescue operations. The current flood situation in UP and Bihar is caused by the continuous rainfall activity over West Madhya Pradesh and East Rajasthan and South Uttar Pradesh. This was informed by Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, DG IMD, in an exclusive conversation with All India Radio News.
This increased rainfall activity over this region led to increase in river flow of the Gangetic system, including Yamuna. It has resulted into the flood situation in parts of UP and Bihar. But however, at present, there is significant decrease in rainfall activity over West MP, East Rajasthan and South Uttar Pradesh. But during next 5 days, we are expecting isolated heavy rainfall activity over East UP and heavy to very heavy rainfall activity over Bihar. Due to this, we can also expect the flood-like situation in certain pockets over East UP and Bihar region during next 5 days. There could be inundation of the low-lying areas, especially over Bihar, due to heavy to very heavy rainfall activity.
Dr. Mahapatra said the Damini app provides real-time information about lightning.
Minister of Earth Sciences and India Meteorological Department has lightning warning system through a mobile app called as Damini. Through this Damini mobile app, one can see the possibility of lightning during next 40 minutes over his or her area. Also, through this mobile app, he or she can find out the occurrence of lightning during last 5 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. This Damini mobile app also provides do's and don'ts and precautionary measures to be taken by the individual in case of lightning. I will suggest that people should utilize this Damini mobile app to get real-time information, the place where you are, and also the other places of the country. You also follow the basic guidelines prepared by National Disaster Management Authority and State Disaster Management Authority.
Dr. Mahapatra suggested ways how people can stay safe during the lightning.
Their study shows that the maximum death due to lightning occurs when a person goes nearby to a tree. So therefore, if there is rainfall or lightning, please don't stand near the tree. And if you are outside, please try to come inside the house with doors closed and windows closed. If at all you are not able to come to the safe place, please lay down in the place where you are in a dry place with your toe and knee touching the ground and putting your head down. That will also save one person from the effect of lightning. While you are moving or talking with a mobile system, please switch off your mobile or please don't talk to anyone when there is lightning. If you have got the electronic appliances at home, please switch off if there is lightning. Please don't watch the TV with remote in your hand when lightning is occurring over your place. The simple such initiatives by the individual can help to reduce the loss of lives and property.
Fit India Freedom Runs are being organized as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur will launch the nationwide program of Fit India Freedom Runs 2.0 on Friday. Minister of State Nishit Pramanik will also join the launch event, where organizations like BSF, CISF, CRPF, Railways, NYKS, ITBP, NSG, SSB would also join virtually from iconic locations across the country. Further, there will be 75 physical events at different historical locations on the launch day. Subsequently, each week, programs will be held in 75 districts and at 75 villages in each district till 2nd of October 2021. Thus, Fit India Freedom Runs will be organized in 744 districts, 75 villages in each of the 744 districts and 30,000 educational institutions across the country. Through this initiative, more than 7.5 crore youth and citizens will be reached to take part in the run. The aim of this nationwide initiative is to encourage people to take part in fitness activities such as running and sports in their daily lives. Through this campaign, citizens will be given a call to make a resolve to include physical activity of at least 30 minutes daily in their lives. Fitness ki dose आधा घंटा रोज.
इस मिट्टी से ही पैदा हुए, इस मिट्टी में दे देंगे जान, तुझसे ही तो जिंदा हूँ मैं ओ मेरे हिंदुस्तान, तुझसे ही तो जिंदा हूँ मैं ओ मेरे हिंदुस्तान। भारत 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 हो
Adipuram is celebrated in Tamil Nadu, albeit in a subdued manner due to the pandemic restrictions. Adipuram is also celebrated as the birthday of Andal, a famous Tamil poet of Vaishvanite sect. Andal, also known as Godadevi, Nachiyar and Kottai, is the only female Alvar among the 12 Alvar saints of South India. The Alvar saints are known for their affiliation to the Sri Vaishnav tradition of Hinduism. Active in 7th century, Andal is credited with the great Tamil works Tirupavai and Nachiyar Tirumozi, which are still recited by devotees during the winter festival season of Margazi. Andal is an important female figure for women in South India.
At the stock markets, after opening higher in the morning, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange erased all its gains to trade 55 points or 0.1% lower at 54,500 in the afternoon session a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange fell 11 points or 0.1% to 16,270.
The second of the 5 test matches between India and England will be played in London tomorrow. From tomorrow, the two sides competed toe-to-toe before the fifth and final day of the Nottingham Test got washed out due to relentless rain on 8th of August. Both teams shared 4 points each from the drawn fixture as the series remains 0-0 and will be eyeing a win at Lord's to set the tone of the series. Match will start at 3:30 p.m. IST.
And now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi experienced strong surface winds during the day. The temperatures minimum 28 degrees, maximum around 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai, the temperatures will hover between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai, the temperatures shall be around 35 degrees maximum, minimum 26 degrees Celsius. Kolkata had a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, maximum around 36 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky again with possibility of rain. Leh, the lower limit of temperature was 12 degrees Celsius, while the upper limit will be nearly 26 degrees. Gilgit, the temperatures will hover between 16 and 34 degrees. Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees and the maximum will be around 26 degrees Celsius. Guwahati, the temperatures minimum 27 degrees, maximum around 34 degrees. Imphal recorded a minimum temperature of 23 degrees and the maximum will be around 30 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Lok Sabha adjourned sine die. Proceedings of the House did not take place as per expectations in this session, says Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. Rajya Sabha takes Constitution 127th Amendment Bill to restore power of states and union territories to make their own OBC lists. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address annual meeting of Confederation of Indian Industry via video conference at 4:30 p.m. today. More than 52 crore COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 97.45%. Sabrimala temple in Kerala to open for devotees from 15th of this month. Many districts of Uttar Pradesh reel under the flood fury. Prime Minister Modi calls up administration of Varanasi regarding flood situation and assures of all possible support. In Bihar, River Ganga in spate, relief and rescue operations in full swing in flood-affected areas. Fit India Freedom Run 2.0 to be held across the country from 13th of August till 2nd October. And in cricket, second test match between India and England to be played at London from tomorrow. And with that, we end the midday news.